welcome to the Lamp of Learning breakfast. I want to start off by saying thank you for attending. This is a program we've been putting on for a number of years, this breakfast. The Lamp of Learning is it's coming up on 20 years old, and we've been doing this for probably about 10. This is really a chance for our current high school seniors to really meet and see alumni, hear some alumni stories, and also for our donors to kind of meet our students. So that's what this breakfast has become. Usually we have it downtown, of course, but you know, times and such. So anyway, I do want to start off. I want to thank my board. Everybody that helps put this together year in and year out. And I want to thank Pam and Melissa and Wendy, Steve and Jeannie and Analia, and I have my audience here, she's clapping. Candace, Sherry, and our newest board member,
Brian Lee, who is the general manager of the University Club downtown.
All right, we do have our students online from their high schools. Anahi Marino Vasquez, Mission Hills High School. Christopher Rodriguez from Escondido High. Ashley Molina, Poway High. Jacqueline Jimenez, San Ysidro High. And Gabriel Mendoza from Mar Vista High. Thank you all for joining us, and congratulations on being a finalist for these scholarships. Each scholarship will be $2,000, and there will be one winner of $10,000. With that, I'd like to turn this over to Wendy Joyce to introduce our speaker.
Hey, so good morning, everyone. We are thrilled to have Dr. Ann Stafari join us today as our guest speaker. Dr. Stafari is currently the superintendent of the Escondido Union High School District. And with 29 years of experience in public education, she's also served as the superintendent of Ramona Unified School District here in San Diego County for 3 years. Ann began her career as a high school biology and AP science teacher at San Pasqual High School. She served as a site principal at both the elementary and the high school levels, and a district office human resources administrator in multiple districts throughout San Diego County. Ann has earned an Ed.D. in educational leadership from Brigham Young University, Master of Arts from Cal State University, San Marcos, and a Bachelor of Science degree from Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah. Dr. Stafari is highly involved with a number of professional organizations, including Association of the California Administrators, also known as ACSA, and California School Board Association, CSBA. Frequently, she serves as a guest speaker, trainer, and panelist on the local, state, and national levels, often using her bilingual skills. Ann lives with her husband in Temecula, where they have raised 4 children. So without further ado, Ann, I would love to have you jump on and share with us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. First, say good morning to everyone. It's wonderful to be here with you today. And at this very busy time of year, I know we all have many demands for our attention, and I want to thank all of you for your time to be here, and hope that I can share a little bit of inspiration with you during our time together. First of all, I'd like to just share with those of you who might not be familiar a little bit about our district. Here in North San Diego County, we serve about 7,500 students. If we can go to the next slide. We're going to talk about scholarship, but I think it's important to just put a context of where I'm coming from here. We have 5 high schools, a robust adult school, and just about under 1,000 employees who all work together to serve our students across the city of Escondido. And I know many of them are joining with us here this morning, which is wonderful. On the next slide, you can see for many of our students, our schools and the school environment represent the most stable thing that our students have in their lives, with over 70%, you can see there on the far right, over 70% of our students either low income, English learner, or foster youth, our students show remarkable resilience and persistence every day as they come and obtain their education. And you can also see their student ethnicity breakdown and breakdown of our schools within the district. Many of our students, I do want to mention, are proud of the fact that they are first generation and obtaining their high school diploma, and hope and passion to obtain their college education beyond high school. To our next slide. Here's a group photo of many of our students across the district. I just love the words of Maya Angelou. She says, in diversity, there's beauty and there is strength. And our students in the Escondido Union High School District are strong beyond measure. I think speak for everyone on our staff, especially in this year of 2020 that has really tested us all beyond what we thought was possible. Our students continue to inspire us. I've had many opportunities over the past 9 months to visit with our students and listen to their perspective on what has happened. And I'll tell you that collectively, they crave connection with one another and with others, adults within our organization. Some of them clearly know, and others need to know that these current circumstances that we're under will not last forever, because we know that we'll get through this pandemic and we'll move on to our COVID recovery phase. In the next slide, you see this picture of light coming out of darkness. I don't know how many of you were able last night to see the planets align. So we saw that large light in the sky that only comes around, I don't remember how long it was. I think since 1600 last time we saw that. So several hundred years. Anne Lamott is one of my favorite authors, and she writes, hope begins in the dark, the stubborn hope that if you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come. You wait and you watch and work and you don't give up. This is a needed reminder, because when dark comes, as it has and as it will, hope for every single one of us really is a choice. It's a daily decision not to surrender or despair, and it's an act of courage. I'm not talking about wishful thinking about better times in the past or better times to come. Hope of this sort really is fierce and stubborn, seeing not just what is, but what can be. And this morning, I just want to speak to you briefly about the horizontal dimension of hope for our students. We can go to the next slide. I'll tell you a little story. One summer, I was just sitting on the beach watching a couple of kids playing in the sand, and they were really hard at work. Any of us who've had that opportunity, building this castle, elaborate, had the drip effect on it, a lot of details. And just when this project was nearly finished, a big, huge wave came along and knocked it down, reducing it into this heap of wet sand. Certainly at this point, I expected the children to burst into tears, just devastated by what had happened, all their hard work. But they surprised me. Instead, they ran up to the shore, away from the water, laughing and holding hands. And then they sat down to build another castle. Realized then that they had taught us an important lesson. Everything in our lives, all the complicated structures we spend so much time and energy creating, are built on sand. Only our relationships to other people endure. And sooner or later, this wave will come and knock down what we've worked so hard to build up. When that happens, only the person that has somebody's hand to hold will laugh. I want to share with you briefly 3 of our former AVID students who were the beneficiaries of Horizontal Hope in the forms of scholarship and support. First that you see here is Albertina Estrada. She's now a sophomore at Notre Dame University. Last year, she came back to our high school AVID students and spoke to them about how shy she was and how she'd never been outside of Escondido. She was invited to visit Notre Dame the summer before her senior year, and she took her freshman English and AVID teacher with her on the plane and not her parents, because she knew that her teacher would know what questions to ask and how to translate for her parents, that the school would give her a great education and she'd be safe far from home here in California. In the next slide, you can see that Notre Dame awarded her a very robust scholarship. And when she returned to speak to our AVID students, she was like a different young lady, so outspoken and confident, full of hope for her future as the result of her scholarship and the university experience that it provided. The next student, Carolina Flores, she's currently a junior at Berkeley, and while in her senior year with our district, Escondido Union High School District, she served as one of our student board members. She was truly a leader among her peers and a recipient also of a very robust scholarship. And Carolina speaks. In the next slide, you can see at her university and the recipient of this scholarship, she speaks of how AVID has provided opportunities for her to develop poise and confidence in public speaking. She returns to her high school roots every year to share with students there how much the AVID program and scholarships are necessary as connections to the future. Finally, it's a pleasure to tell you about Edgar Vega. He's currently a third-year resident at UCSD Medical School. He wanted to go to Stanford, and even though he was accepted to Stanford and UCLA, it was because of the scholarship he received and the collective scholarships that he was able to attend Williams College in Massachusetts. And on the next slide, you can see that at Williams College is where he received his undergraduate degree. He really credits the confidence that he gained in AVID with regards to social interaction. Edgar says he was one of only a handful of Hispanic students who attended this college, and he reports that AVID prepared him for the realities of being different from other college students who were not first generation. He's proud. He says he's very proud to share that he held his own, made his family proud, and changed many mindsets along the way. So soon to be, in the next slide, you can see soon to be Dr. Vega. No doubt Edgar would not be where he is today without the hope that scholarships provided him along the way. Each of these students, and I'm sure many in attendance today, have success stories that are grounded in hard work, determination, and woven with the common thread of scholarship. In our next slide, we could just see the key there. Scholarship and scholarships really are the key. Support from others in this form makes it possible for many of our students to pursue their passions with hope and with confidence. Go back to my story about the sandcastle and the children on the shore. In the next slide, we know that big waves, metaphorically speaking, come into all of our lives. They have different shapes and forms and different names. And these big waves can draw our dreams and our plans. And this year, undoubtedly, our students are experiencing the tidal wave of COVID-19 and the ripple effect of its impact that is yet to be seen. We can call it connection, we can call it collaboration, or call it community, but it's about having the courage to care and the will to turn that care into deliberate action. And certainly while we are now socially distant and virtual, you can consider this picture of virtual holding one another's hands, so to speak, in the hard times, and discovering what's possible when we can do it together. Because the truth is, and I'm sure that many of you would agree, we aren't really whole, and we can't do what we need to do without one another. We can't do it alone. I want to leave you with the next slide, and as we close out this 2020 year and move into the next year, I'd like to offer a question. How will you make an impact? And when we reach out to one another through scholarship support and hold the hand of another, virtually, so to speak, our students' dreams can become reality, and life for all of us can become unexpectedly improved. I just want to conclude there with some contact information, and thank you all for the opportunity really to share this morning. I wish everyone a safe, happy holiday, and continue doing the good things that you're doing here with this organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Staffieri. That was really inspiring, and I'm sure all of us on the Zoom event here can feel the impact that you just made with those stories. Thank you for sharing.
Beautiful.
Well, the next segment of this virtual event is our little spotlights, our students. And I'm so excited that those of you that are here, and we want to first speak with each one of our semifinalists, our current seniors, and then we'll have a chance if any of the alumni, we do have our alumni speaker, Marcella, thanks for being here. So we'll move into that. But what I'd like to do is I'm going to just pose a couple of questions to our current students. And I'm just going to go in alphabetical order. A couple of the students do have their teachers here. So teachers, I will reach out to you to share something you'd like to share about the student as well, okay? So Anahi, we have you here. And I wanted to introduce you. And I actually want you to introduce yourself and just go ahead and confirm maybe the schools that you have applied to, and maybe tell us what your first or second choice is. And also, are you still going to be moving towards a degree in sociology? So maybe if anything has changed, you can update us on that.
Yes, so I applied to the majority of the UC schools, except for UC Davis, and then a couple CSUs as well. And yes, I'm still majoring in sociology and kind of emphasizing in like the ethnic studies and the race and cultural part. Yeah, would you like for me to do my introduction?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so hi, my name is Anaí Medino Vasquez, and I think about a big part of me is that I'm one of 7 people in my family. I'm the oldest out of all of my siblings, so that kind of built me to be who I am now. I'm a first generation low income student, and both of my parents are immigrants. So that has a big meaning in it because there's a lot of things that my parents didn't know what to help me with. One of the biggest things being learning how to speak English. So, you know, going to school with like bilingual teachers really helped. But I remember 3rd grade, I was just thrown into an all English classroom. So that was pretty difficult, but I definitely fought through it. And then middle school came along, and that's when I realized that like school was really like my safe place. So my 7th grade year, I took 8 classes. I took a 0 period, my 6 periods, and then like I took Avid 7th period. And then I did 2 sports every season, and then I would walk home. And during high school, I worked really hard because I knew college was almost there. I did Avid all 4 years. And same thing, I was in marching band, which took a lot of dedication, probably 20 hours a week. I did community service, and then I always made sure that I had some rigorous courses in my schedule as well. So yes, that was that. And then when it comes to like why I am the person I am throughout the years, there was a lot of like adversity I had gone through. Some of the biggest ones being like my father left when I was 12, for the simple, like just absurd reasons. But my mom remarried like 2 years later to like, let's say, kind of aggressive person. but he's gotten better. And then me taking care of my 4 younger siblings is a big impact on me, but it has definitely taught me how to grow and has definitely increased my maturity level and knowledge level as well. So, I know how to take care of kids now. Also, when it has taught me how to be independent, whether my parents are there or not, asking questions. I know with my parents not knowing English, they always ask me they always tell me to ask the right questions and get everything right for them and translating as well. So for me, my whole life has definitely been around my parents and helping them and my family. And during this quarantine, it has been especially hard because I got a job in March and then quarantine hit. And then my parents couldn't work and we couldn't get unemployment or anything because my parents were immigrants. And so I ended up getting a job and working 40 to 50 hours a week for a couple of months, especially during the summer. And then from there, I helped them out with bills and stuff. And then just recently, my mom got the COVID virus. And so that was pretty devastating as well for 2 weeks. And it's just it's just like these little obstacles that, or what it seems to be little, are just so devastating to our family. And it gives all of us a new outlook into our life and how to go through with everything. And it's just not taking anything for granted, and then just being really safe and prepared for everything, and just being there for each other. So that's kind of that's kind of what makes me me, and a little insight of myself.
Wow. Well, thank you, Anahi. That is just wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And it shows that you have such an amazing attitude, even as you've gone through the different challenges. And even since we've talked with you before, I can see that boy, you really did rise to the occasion. And you seem like the confidence has just really blossomed since the last time we even saw you. So good for you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well, next we are going to hear from Ashley, but first we do have Mrs. Kawasaki on the line, and that she is Ashley's teacher. So would you like to share something about Ashley, and then we'll have her do her introduction?
Yes, I would love to. So first of all, good morning, everybody. It's great for me to be here. It's strange to have a virtual breakfast, but I'm very excited to participate. And I wanted to say hello to Esther. Esther was one of the finalists a few years ago, and Esther just graduated from UC Merced. So congratulations, Esther. I've missed you. So I want to introduce Ashley Molina. She is one of our superstars. I mean, we have our avid students at Poway are amazing, but Ashley, ever since she was a freshman, has really stood out. Every so often I teach a freshman avid class, and so I was really blessed to have Ashley in my freshman class, and she stood out because while the rest of the freshmen were doing kind of, freshman level things, Ashley was never like that. She was mature, she was studying, she would listen to my instruction, and then she'd just get straight to work. And she was so driven. I remember when we did college research, she researched Stanford because that was the school she really wanted to go to. And then I had Ashley as a sophomore, and she took 2 AP classes instead of some sophomores kind of took 1, but she took 2, very determined. Last year when COVID hit, it was devastating for a lot of our students who really do rely on that human contact and the interaction. But Ashley was somebody who's very determined, and she just never let anything get in her way of her academics. She's participated with rugby, I think it's rugby or lacrosse. It's one of those. So she's always participated in sports and taken AP classes. Over the summer, she bought a car, and I remember in her personal statement, she talked a lot about how much buying a car, her first car, meant to her. And that really showed her determination. And then this year, as a senior, some of her family members fell ill. And so she was the only one who was not ill. And so she became this person for her family, kind of like Anahi, who the family really relied on as like their connection to the outside world to go get groceries and to just take on that role. I mean, she's doing school and then also doing this role of taking care of her whole family. So I really admire you, Ashley, for that. Um, and Ashley wants to be an attorney. She's going to major in criminal justice. And just Zooming with her to help her fill out her college apps, I could just see her determination every day. And she still has straight A's. She's just an amazing person. This year, she's an avid officer. So we made her AP outreach coordinator to go and talk to our other avid classes to encourage students to take those AP classes, because some of our avid students, even though they're really smart and they're hardworking, they just lack that confidence to take the AP classes. And so Ashley's somebody who's not afraid of going out, going after those challenges, taking AP classes, asking questions. So I am so proud of you, Ashley, for all that you've accomplished. And it's a pleasure to work with you every day.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mrs. Kawasaki. That is a wonderful intro. We already have some insight into Ashley, and we're so happy that you are here to join us. So I'd love for you to share what you'd like to update us and how you're doing. And your teacher already confirmed that you are still wanting to pursue criminal justice. So that's great. And I had I think it was soccer and hockey that you would be involved in, and sure that probably changed a little bit this year. So Ashley, go ahead and take it away. You are still on mute, so you can unmute yourself, and we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, I'm Ashley Molina, senior at Poway High School. Let me start off by saying thank you so much, Miss Kawasaki, my favorite teacher. Okay, so my story starts in, I'd say since first grade. So first grade, when I really started, that's when I think self-awareness and I became conscious of everything around me. And that's when I really realized that there wasn't a point in my life where I hadn't seen my father abuse my mom, and physically and mentally. And sometimes it was behind closed doors and other times it wasn't. And that's something that really came to impact me throughout the rest of my life, because you would think that it'd be worse to watch it, but sometimes behind closed doors, it's only what you can imagine. And it got so bad to the point in fourth grade where my mom finally decided that she just had enough. And at that point, it was a really tough time. And I think different kids and different people have different outlets to release the sadness, to release the anger. And mine was school, because I was always so good at it. I was a good learner. I was quick at learning, and I picked everything up so easily. And so in the fourth grade, when everything was really just out of my control, school was the only thing that I was really in control in. And so I just stuck to that, and I hit the ground running. And I got super passionate about reading. And in the fourth grade, I was reading, I read the whole Twilight series in 4 days. I read the Diary of Anne Frank in the fourth grade. It's crazy when I think back to it now, because I don't know how I understood any of it. But I think it was just a way of putting myself in a different world that wasn't necessarily mine at the time, when I didn't want to be in it. And I always knew that my way out was education. And so in the third grade, I was like, I'm going to Yale University. And in the fourth grade, I switched to Stanford, and I stuck to Stanford, and Stanford was it. And I'm proud to say that I will be applying to both of those schools by the end of this month. And I mean, things got they got harder, and my dad left, and it was hard because that was a relationship I really wanted to have with him, and it wasn't what I got, and that was okay. It was a struggle, but by the time I was just growing up in middle school and high school, by the time I got to high school, I knew this was it was game time to me. because everything I had worked for, that goal that had kept me motivated up until this point in life, it was really time to show that off. And it was I was lucky enough to get involved in Avid and to have that ladder to college, because my mom was the only one I had, and my mom didn't have that background of going to college. She didn't have that background of knowing what was really going on. She didn't know what classes I should take. So it was really up to me to find that support elsewhere. And I was lucky enough to have Avid at my school, and it has helped so much. And I really just did everything I could to achieve my dream. I took all the AP classes. I went to the Saturday schools, to the tutoring sessions, and I gave back. And I joined National Honor Society. I tutored others, California Scholarship Federation, where I was involved in even more community service than what Avid was already pushing me to do. And I am so happy, because the past hurts, the resentment's there, the pain is still there, but it was a matter of like not looking back at what had happened and just looking at what I had control of in the future. And I'm so happy to say now that I am applying to over 9 universities, and that my dream is right there in front of me. And I'm so happy that everything that I have worked for up to this point, I see it's finally paying off, and I'm so excited for this new chapter in my life.
Wow, Ashley, that is amazing. Thank you so much. And I'm so inspired by the fact that you embraced school and your learning and diving into the different worlds with everything you were going through. And look what you've achieved. Now you're right. You can look back and say your dream is right there, right in front of you. So great job. And thank you for sharing. And thanks for being here. All right, we have Christopher online. Hi there, Christopher. So Christopher, if you would update us on where you're applying, and if you're still going to be pursuing psychology. I think last time we spoke that was your intended major, and then share some highlights from you.
All right, so to reintroduce myself, my name is Christopher Rodriguez. I'm currently a senior at Escondido High School, and as far as colleges I'm applying to, I'm going to be applying to Stanford, Harvard. I've already applied to UCLA, UC Berkeley, and UC Irvine, and I still dreaming of going to the University of Chicago. So that's one of my top schools as for right now. As for my studies, I'm hoping to be studying neuroscience at one of those universities if they offer it. If not, I do believe I would go the psychology route, since it is kind of a similar track. The reason I want to study neuroscience is, for me, it has a lot to do. My interest in psychology is deeply rooted in my past experiences. At the age of 13 in middle school, I had a lot of friends who were in bad places. I had friends who overdosed, attempted suicide, and I myself have been in places of depression before. So I think that's where my interest of psychology and philosophy comes from. Uh, Having to witness those things at a young age, I've always realized that they're just kind of there, and they're a part of human nature, and I think that studying them is the way to kind of overcome them. I really want to be someone who grows up and I can say that I'm trying to help people. So I want to study neuroscience for my undergrad, but it's not where it stops. I'm hoping that one day I can go to grad school, and hopefully I can come home in scrubs, and people can look at me and say, well, that's a doctor, that's my ultimate dream. So yeah, that's it for about what I want to study. As far as some of my highlights go, coronavirus has certainly slowed me down, but it's not going to stop me at all. Coming up in high school, I have been a part of Avid for 4 years. I really used it as a way to kind of get out of this destructive path that I was on in middle school, and I wasn't always a perfect student, but I turned it around. I've now gotten straight A's for the entirety of my high school career, except for one B in freshman year. But other than that, A's in all of my AP classes, honors courses, everything. Last summer, I was a part of a program with the University of Chicago. Sent me merch and stuff, but I was supposed to fly out to Chicago and spend the summer there and take courses with the amazing professors there, Nobel laureates. And I believe I was going to take a course on power and the presidency because I was still interested in political science. I still am, but I think I'm going the neuroscience route. So I had to do that program online. It was still great because I got a early introduction to Zoom classes, and it was like certainly still interesting talking to those professors and learning through them. And I got to learn about developing character and all different facets of subjects, entrepreneurship and such. So I think that was something that I've been doing that was really amazing. Also, I'm very happy that I got to finish my research with the University of California, San Diego. We were conducting research on how to improve representation within computer science, which is another field that I'm super interested in. It's so fun to me, getting to code, and that's something that I got to pick up at my high school. So I was conducting research with them along professors, and we've concluded that research now, which we were afraid we weren't going to be able to because of Corona. But like I said, it can't stop me, and certainly not going to stop the rest of us. I think I can speak for all of us that it's just a small roadblock, and we'll get through. Um, so I've been able to conduct research with them, and we are working on an action plan for next semester to try and increase her female representation. That's a representation that my school personally lacks. We do have a pretty good chunking of ethnic representation in terms of Latinos and um, Black people in taking computer science at my school, but we do lack female representation, which is something I don't like because I think it's a great career path, and it's certainly something that I think could improve the gender gap in terms of income. So that's something that I want to work on, especially for Latinas going into that field. I'm very passionate about that. Um, so those are some of the highlights. I've kept up with tutoring and stuff. Last year, I helped to start a tutoring program at my school for underclassmen. I was the head of the tutoring program with Link Crew, so I was tutoring freshmen and sophomores all year last year. It was really hard work, but I think I gained a new respect for my teachers, honestly. But that first time where you look into someone's eyes and you can tell and they say thank you with like pure sincerity, I think it's one of the most amazing moments. I really love that feeling. So I've been keeping up with that and Key Club and stuff, but those are some of the highlights that I wanted to share with you guys.
Oh, wonderful, Christopher. Well, thank you so much. And I just love the fact that you're just not going to let this silly pandemic get you down. You're just really determined to just still make a difference. And even as our speaker said, make an impact. So thanks for sharing how you're making an impact already. Awesome, awesome. And one of our students isn't present, but we do have Gabriel as our last current senior student, and I believe his teacher is on the line. Mr. Jara, thank you for being here. Do you want to share some words about Gabriel before we have him speak?
Yes, good morning, everyone, and happy holidays. I don't know if my words will do justice to all the great work and the wonderful effort that Gabriel has put forth at our high school. I met Gabriel when he was in 7th grade at a college night, and I was walking around perusing the different projects that the students were making for Avid. And of course, I'm recruiting and seeing what's the future going to come, what type of students am I going to be seeing in a few years. And there's this kid bragging about his model, his Harvard model, being exact and being precise, and he made it to scale, and it was so impressive. And I just had to ask him, like, what's your name? And he said, Gabriel, sir. I was like, oh, okay. And I just kind of put it in my file, and I just said, okay, maybe I'll see him, maybe I won't. And sure enough, in 9th grade, he takes 0 period Avid, 2 years in my class, and he's been great, just wonderful. He's just a consummate leader. He's always thinking about others before he thinks about himself. He's the classic overachiever, but without the overachiever arrogance. He really makes an effort to make sure that all the needs of others are met before his own. So as far as he tutoring others, he would do that in our tutorial sessions. He then took on the leadership role as the Avid Club president last year, and he's done it well for 2 years. And even in the face of the pandemic, he's always still kept the other officers connected, so they're still working on projects. Uh, One of the things that he's done is he's branched out to other organizations such as Rachel's Challenge, and he's part of Key Club, and he's also been part of the Social Fabric Initiative through the University of San Diego. So he is not only looking to help his school, but he's trying to help the community as a whole, the South San Diego community. I'm so proud of this young man. He grew up without a father. His mother and his two sisters run a daycare, so I know that they've sacrificed much for him to be able to have these opportunities. So I've been blessed, and I've been fortunate to have seen him grow in so many areas, and I'm just so proud of him. And I know wherever he goes, he's going to do some great and wonderful things.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Jara, for sharing that. And we know that about Gabriel. I mean, we definitely saw his spark when we had the interview. And Gabriel, I know you were planning so many amazing things over the summer and when you were entering your school year. And of course, with the pandemic, that probably changed things, but I bet you it didn't slow you down. So please share with you. And I think you were planning on family law as your major. And so just update us on you and take it away.
So, hello, good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for being here. I really appreciate the time that you guys are taking out of your day. To give you a little bit more context about who I am before I jump into what my studies and how that shifted. I live about 20 minutes away from the border. So as you can imagine, my school is very Latinx, very a lot of different students. And so I guess that sort of diversified the narrative of what I want to do with my life. I wanted to begin to go into family law, obviously, because I understand the different issues that we have with a single parent, knowing what it's like to sort of struggle between two parents, understanding what it means for me. I had to personally show up in court and testify in court, and I understand how, mentally it impacts a student, and better yet, a kid at such a young age having to do something like that. So I've always sort of loved law. I've always loved history. Growing up, my family has been very supportive. I know for like the longest period of time, I wanted to be a paleontologist. So you could only imagine my room had like a little volcano thing, and my door had like dinosaur prints. So I've always loved history. And recently, I've sort of taken on more sort of the politics kind of area. My US history teacher, Mr. Tompkins, he did a great job at introducing the content. And now I have another for US government. They're both AP classes, right? And I don't know why the AP classes for like like history, like have always like motivated me, and I've become very close with the teachers. But my US Gov teacher, his name is Mr. Castro. He's very difficult to deal with, but that's what I love about the content. He's always very interactive, and he's always done things like that. Regarding my schools, I'm applying right now to 16 different universities. I did 4 CSUs, 5 UCs, and 6 privates. Just last week, I got accepted into SDSU. I believe I got a full ride scholarship as part of one of the early applicants, as in to be going into that. In my application, I did speak about how I am currently, and this is a big wowzer, 16 different extracurriculars. So I've done from tutoring to the forensic team to yearbook, obviously Avid, and so many other different activities that go on my day-to-day basis. So you know that I'm usually up by like 9, or like, no, usually up by 7 and go to bed by like 2 in the morning, because my schedule is just crazy. And I love showing this. And I know Miss Melissa had, obviously, when I had met with you guys, I have like my wall covered in sticky notes. My planner is bombarded with all these different activities that I'm doing. In the course of my summer, I know that I had talked a little bit about what I wanted to do, and everything that I said I was going to do, I absolutely did. I volunteered to work with the Biden team. So for Biden for president, I was definitely on board with the California team. I got one of the top 5 students for phone calling, emailing, messaging. I did a lot of other political things. I joined first generation students. And a few others. There's like a bunch of other different organizations, and that's basically what I've been doing with my time. And it's been sort of a big struggle with me having to, organize everything that I have, and then also with my family, knowing that I'm the first generation student. My sister had to put whatever she had to do on pause. She's been working with my mom ever since my mom has gotten sick, and she has been unemployed for like 2 years now. So my sister has had to put her career and everything that she has had to do on the line for me to succeed ahead. So everything that I'm telling you guys right now, I put in my full determination. I put in my full glory. My Mr. Hada knows that I've definitely put in more than what I can into everything that I do. So again, I'd like to thank all of you guys for giving me the chance to speak.
Wow, thank you, Gabriel. I knew you would be very busy this summer, and it's great to hear that you still were able to accomplish all of that. So good for you. And we thought you had a really big, strong pull towards the political arena. So, and you definitely have the amazing, I feel, speaking capability, presence for that. So thank you for sharing. All right, well, that is all of our students we have here. I think I don't have any other teachers on the line, do I? Okay, well, I'm gonna turn this back over to Paul.
All right. So I have the pleasure of introducing kind of somebody that I've been a fan of for a number of years now, as an alum of the Lamp of Learning. We have a lot of amazing alum. I know Fatty is an amazing amazing student, engineer. And we'll hear from him later. But Marcela Alvarez is just top tier. All of these students are amazing, and she's a great example of one of them. And so Marcela graduated in 2012. And went to UCSD, graduated from UCSD in 2016, where she won the Joel Dean Award for Excellence in Management Science. And she's done some amazing things. We've had the pleasure of keeping in touch with Marcela, and she stayed in touch with us, and we really appreciate her support. So I'd like to introduce Marcela Alvarez.
Thanks, Paul. Good morning, everyone. And again, congratulations to the 2021 finalists. This has been a really interesting year, so I can't even begin to imagine what high school life is like for you right now, but congratulations and best of luck to all of you. And also thank you, Paul, for the very generous introduction, for always thinking of me and inviting me to participate in such a wonderful event. And just giving me the opportunity of meeting all of this year's amazing students. And of course, for adding my graduation year and aging me, but that's okay. And to every student here, you all have such an inspiring story, and I can identify with a lot of the things everyone has said. First generation college student. I'm from South San Diego, from San Ysidro, so also lived really close to the border, grew up in a primarily Spanish-speaking neighborhood, definitely Spanish-speaking home. So my English was learned at school, home was always Spanish, so there was always that cultural barrier per se with school where I didn't understand references, things like that. Parents got divorced. Of course, the recession hit, we lost our home. So I think although the circumstances aren't exactly the same, we've all been through a lot of really hard barriers that have attempted to impact our path to success. But I'm here and you'll be here in 4 years, 5 years, and we'll all have a degree and be 1 degree smarter. So let me share a little bit more about me and my journey through high school, college, and now my short-lived career for now. For me, there was always a clear distinction between aspiring to go to college and actually having a path to go to college, right? My parents immigrated to the US, basically like many of yours, to give me a better life and to make sure that I earned the education that they didn't have the option and resources to pursue. But this was an idea, it was a dream. We didn't have the direction on how to actually make this a reality. And of course, my parents believe in me like no one else does, but the lack of knowledge of the US college system and the inherent language barrier prevented them from fully understanding, as you all very well know, the complexity and quite honestly, the difficulty of actually applying, being accepted, and then the big one, which is paying for college. But luckily, like many of you, I was also an avid student, and my avid teacher, Ms. Schmierbach, was the one who helped me develop and understand my path toward college, right? So at this point, I have the aspiration and the path is in the making. This was her area of expertise and her passion. She has dedicated her career to making sure that her students' aspirations are met with that path, a concrete set of resources, steps, and requirements needed to make all of our dreams a reality. And to this day, I thank Ms. Schmierbach for everything she has done for me. Avid, Lamp of Learning, and everyone on this call were one of the most vital organizations and people in making my dreams come true. And as I like to say, these are the people in our corner. These are the people that believe in us and that no matter what, will always be there for us when you need words of encouragement or whatever it may be. Like Paul called me a few weeks ago and I was like, hi. So definitely stay in touch. This is a relationship that we as scholars have to foster and truly take advantage of, because all sugar coats aside, college is not as easy as high school. It's not impossible, so don't get discouraged, but it definitely won't feel the same. I walked onto UCSD as salutatorian of Montgomery High School, and I was thinking that I was the smartest girl around, and I thought that courses were going to be harder, but hard is a relative term, right? So 1 to 10, 10 being the hardest. I thought that classes at Montgomery might have been a 3 for me. So what if UCSD was a 4 or 5? Like that didn't really scare me. But I quickly learned that UCSD courses were more like a 15, and everyone at UCSD was top of their high school class. I wasn't special anymore. High school standings meant nothing here. So if I was going to succeed, I was going to have to adjust my mentality and adapt to my very quickly changing academic environment. I unfortunately was not able to adjust that quickly and finish my first quarter having failed a midterm for the first time in my life. I got a B- on an essay and overall a 3.6 GPA. That was completely devastating. It of course isn't failing, but to me it was. I was used to straight A's. I was used to that 4.0, and I was actually generally quite devastated. I remember calling my mom and being like, I'm failing. Like, what is this? But of course, eventually I understood that I could rise to the challenge, and I had 3.5 years left to prove it. So 1 quarter down, and it wasn't going to get the best of me. And in doing so, I became better, a stronger person. And looking back, it may not have been so much that the courses were hard, but that the situation was new and different, and it took some time to acclimate to and to understand that the rigor of university courses isn't the same as the high school courses we're used to. And now I understand that, sure, everyone around me was valedictorian or salutatorian on top of their class, but so was I. Everyone around me was smart, but so am I, and so are you. So at the end of the day, don't feel discouraged. I'm not going to lie to you, Paul, you can attest to this, that college will be a lot harder, but we're all very capable, and I was definitely used to that 4.0. So if that's you and you aim for perfection, don't be surprised when you get something other than an A+ on an assignment or an exam. Just a little reality check there. And simultaneously, in my first quarter at UCSD, I decided to avoid student loans. So I was keeping my high school job. I was a cashier at Kmart in San Ysidro, right by the border, if some of you are familiar with that. And that neighborhood is, statistically speaking, a Spanish-speaking neighborhood, right? So the assumption is that if you see someone, it's likely that they will speak Spanish rather than English. So there I was, and Paul, you know the story already, but I was trying to do my job when a non-Spanish speaker comes into the store and asks me where the bathroom is, but in a very condescending, broken Spanish. Like, it was obvious that he was assuming that I didn't speak English. So naturally, I responded in English to tear down that assumption. And to my surprise, he responded with, "Oh, you speak English. It's okay. You'll probably still end up working here your whole life." So those comments, those assumptions that are made just because I was wearing a blue Kmart shirt, combined with my 3.6 GPA and the perhaps true opinions of this stranger, made my first quarter at UCSD a nightmare. I felt alone, I felt unsupported, and actually believed I was failing. Again, a 3.6 GPA is not failing, and in fact is quite good in college, but at that time I didn't know better. I was used to that 4.0 and above with AP courses. So the difference between a 4.4 and a 3.6 seemed quite stark to me. And I think this is exactly where AVID, Lam of Learning, and our donors come in. This is our support group. Again, these are the people on our corner, and you're on a call surrounded by objective individuals that believe in you, that believed in me, and that know that one test, one grade, or a couple of bad quarters don't define you or the end of your story. We are all here because we've experienced challenges and have overcome them, and will continue to overcome them. And I think we're all on an upward trajectory. Despite the pandemic and everything else going on this year, I think we can all overcome anything that comes our way with the support of one another. Everyone on this call is here for you. They have invested their time, their money, and their resources because they believe in your potential and because they believe that you can succeed and achieve all of your goals, whether it's your teachers or the Lam of Learning or AVID, even myself, like listening to all of you. We all believe in you, and we're all an email or phone call away. So fast forward 4 years, and I did graduate from UCSD summa cum laude, which is the top Latin honors at university. I was a top student in my major, and I graduated with the most amazing group of friends that I could ever have asked for, and so will you. So I know academics are everything to me, at least, and maybe to you from what I can tell. We are dedicated, but don't forget that college is where you make your lifelong friends. This is where you meet your support group. This is where you meet whoever's going to be sitting next to you in 40 years, laughing at how we cried over a C on a midterm. So also focus on that and make sure you enjoy the little things and the fun things that college has to offer. And please understand that you're not here by mistake. You were chosen to be part of this prestigious program. You were chosen to be here. Your hard work got you here, and it wasn't just luck. So don't forget that your support system is here. You have people rooting for you. Just know who you are and embrace it. Continue to thrive, continue to shine. And when you're knocked down, dust yourself off, figure it out, and know that you can always do things differently and come back being a better and stronger person. Own it, embrace it, and don't forget your roots and the people who helped you get where you are today. If given the opportunity, our donors are with us from start to finish and beyond. I'm still getting calls from Paul 8 years later. I had people from the AVID board show up to my graduation. Ms. Schmierbach showed up to my graduation. My chemistry teacher showed up to my UCSD graduation. So it's about those connections and fostering those relationships down the line. Currently, I'm a data analyst for the Jacobs School of Engineering at UCSD. So I returned to my alma mater. I have not only returned, but in a small way, am able to use student data to guide the school and its programs to successfully provide students like us a better and equal chance to succeed in college and complete our degrees in STEM fields such as engineering. I work with computer science and engineering and developing programs that help Hispanic students and all underrepresented minorities just thrive and have a better chance at succeeding in such a hard and large campus. And again, I could not have achieved this without the support of the people on this call and without the support of my AVID teacher and the AVID team. So from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. And I think every student on this call would agree with this sentiment. You all are making a child's dream like mine come true. So a dream is becoming a reality, and that's something that we can't thank you enough for. I am safe at home. I don't have to be working retail or anything else. So you've all given us a way to have a career and to make sure that moving forward, we're able to do the same for our kids. So thank you.
Wow, Marcella, that was just amazing. Thank you so much. So inspiring, just the words that you shared. I was thinking about first generation students and doing some studying, and one of the things that you said that hit so beautifully was talking about supporting one another And that one of the things, it's not just a financial thing, but the social capital disadvantage in being a first generation student. And meaning that not having the human capital and the resources and the networking, and what you offered and what you shared with all the students is so inspiring and so important. You know, that it's the financial, but also that social capital and how to be there for one another and support. And you said that so beautifully. So thank you so much. What a great story. So we love having you.
Thank you, Pam. And I'll add one more thing for those of you heading to college, make sure that you check if the Avid Alumni Association is on your campus, because that's also a great support system to continue feeling like you're at home.
Thank you, Marcella. You know, Marcella had such a beautiful message, but I'm just so excited, and I know the board is, that we have so many alumni on and here to support and be with all of us this morning. I think that's just an incredible testament to your continued service to each other. So thank you for being on. And you know, I don't want to call out anybody because we didn't necessarily tell you how to prepare anything. But are there any words that you might want to share with the students? And if you do, please just go off mute, and we have plenty of time. And I know the students love hearing from you, probably more so than these board members.
I can share one thing that I learned from my astronomy class that I took this semester, and it really just hit home, especially during this time. It was that during the time of the bubonic plague, a great scientist named, well, I'm sorry, I'm blacking out because I'm really nervous. But
you're good.
Isaac Newton, Isaac Newton, during this pandemic, he was around our age, and instead of just sitting around like being sad about the situation, he decided to go back to his estate, and he invented calculus. He like improved the laws of motion, and I just thought that was so amazing because we're exactly in the same situation right now, and we could be that person that invents something amazing during this time. And I just wanted to tell everyone that this is an opportunity, not a setback. So just use it to your advantage, and make sure you use the best out of it.
Missy, that's a beautiful message. And you know what? Thank you for sharing that. You want to tell them where you're at right now? And you were always such an inspiration to me at the award dinner. I was just so proud of you. And where are you at right now? Let them all know and what you're studying.
Yeah, right now I'm currently at SDSU, and I am studying Japanese. I decided to change my major because I was really thinking about what I really wanted to study. And to be honest, I really don't know. But right now I like Japanese, so I'm sticking with that until I find something. And that's why I'm using my GEs as like a way to discover new things. I'm taking astronomy, philosophy, like zoology, just to see like the different fields and like what else I could explore.
I love that you're giving yourself that opportunity to explore different things. And that's an inspiration to everybody, that you don't have to go in with, you know, one thing. You know, this world has so many opportunities. So you were doing aviation too, weren't you?
Yes. Sadly, I did my medical exam and I passed, but I had 2 heart surgeries. So when it got to the FAA, they declined my medical. So I'm currently fighting with the FAA, calling them every week to check on my status. And hopefully next week, they have read all my medical records and would confirm that I could be on my way to becoming a pilot. So hopefully that happens. If not, then I'll have to figure out what else I want to do with my life.
Well, remember what Dr. Stafari said so beautifully. Hope is fierce and stubborn, and you are fierce and stubborn, young lady. So we'll all think good thoughts for you on that. So
thank you.
Thank you for sharing with everybody.
I just want to something real quick. I want to thank you for having me today. My name is Fadi, and I'm a second year bio major at UCLA. And it was amazing to hear all your stories and everything that you guys shared. I know it's personal. A lot of the personal stuff is kind of harder to share with people. I know it's kind of hard for me because I get emotional and everything. So I was kind of crying and when you guys were all sharing. So thank you for brightening my morning. And I just wanted to say, about college. Like when I first I never thought I was gonna go to UCLA. Never, never. Like it was a dream for me. And when I first went into college, like I was always used to being with around my my parents and helping them out, translating for them, and being like a leader in the house. And it was kind of difficult to be away from them. uh, I know a lot of people, a lot of you who are like going far away from to a different like university that's not close from home. It's gonna be a little bit difficult in the beginning, getting used to the new college environment, getting to meet new people, understanding uh, what it means to be a college student, and all the. It's gonna be really hard. I'm not gonna lie. It was very difficult for me, especially the first quarter, and um I didn't do I didn't do as best as I wanted to do. I know a lot of you are going to have high expectations going in like me, but it's kind of hard keeping up with those expectations, but you learn after your first quarter. I got a 3.4 in my first quarter and I was valedictorian of my high school. It's crazy. Like I was so disappointed. I was like, I'm a failure. I didn't know what to do. So I had to call my parents and everything, and they calmed me down and all that. And I talked to my roommates and everything. So it's okay. And also, if you don't know what you want to do, if you're not 100% sure on what you want to do, that doesn't mean college is not right. It's not for you. You're not ready for college. It just means that you just need more time exploring the things that you love to do, and try to get into it more. Yeah, that was it.
So much. So thank you for sharing that. I'm blown away when I hear you and Marcella talk about the fact that you had a 3.6 and a 3.4, and how hard that just hurts you, and that's a good grade to put GPA going into your first year. But I think that's really a wonderful thing to share with the students, because you all have incredible grades going into college, and that first semester can be really hard in the next semester. So thank you for sharing that and being so open with everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sonia. I'm a second year at Stanford University. Kind of to echo what Fadi and Marcella have said before, is that college can be a really isolating experience, and that's just kind of the reality of it, especially first coming in. What we call it at Stanford is we call it floating duck syndrome. Is everyone at the top is like a duck above the water, and they look like they're gracefully like gliding across the water, and like nothing's going wrong. But at the bottom, beneath the water, they're like flipping their feet like rigorously and vigorously to try to stay afloat. And that's the reality of everything. People will make it seem like they're doing perfectly fine and that everything is going great for them. But the reality is everyone is struggling. You're not alone. And you kind of need to keep that in mind, that even though people aren't showing it like directly to you, everyone is struggling. And the reality is college is hard for everyone. And it can be hard being around such smart people. Like you'll meet the smartest people in your life at college. Like, and it can be really daunting too, but I think you need to remember the fact that you also got accepted into whatever school you're going to, and you also deserve to be there. They obviously they saw potential in you, and it's not a mistake that you were accepted, no matter what, no matter where you end up. And I think you need to keep that reminder. You need to remind yourself of that from time to time. And it's also really important to get involved in a community. I think early on, sometimes you want to play it out and see how college is and just like observe for a while, but finding that community that early on can really help as far as like grades and as far as support systems. I joined FLIP, which is the First Generation Low Income Partnership. And I was a first year intern there. And what we do is it's a group of obviously first generation low income students. So people like me, and I think if I hadn't joined that, I wouldn't have found that community, because the reality is we are the minority, especially in like elite institutions. So to find that community was extremely important for me. And we put on programs for first generation low income students to help build that community to other students and branch out. And we also talk to administration and try to get programs, additional programs and help where we see fit, and advocate for first gen low income students and anything else we're really passionate about. So yeah, those are my 2 bits of advice. Remember, you're not alone. You're not the only one going through what you're going through, despite how it may seem, and that find your community, and that will really help help you throughout your college career.
Thank you, Sonia, for sharing that. Yeah, it is. I love the duck analogy that you shared with everybody. You know, on the surface, we can all seem to be just fine, but we're paddling like heck below, right? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. All right. Esther, how are you? Do you want to tell them where you're going to school?
Yes, of course. I wasn't quite sure whether or not to go since my Wi-Fi is a little spotty today. But hi, I'm Esther. I'm a current doctoral student at Alumni International University in San Diego. As Ms. Kawasaki had previously mentioned, I recently graduated from UC Merced, and I really do appreciate and concur with the sentiments that's already been shared. But first, I just wanted to mention it's amazing to see 4 categories of individuals in this breakfast. We have the current recipients, we have the alumni, we have the supporters, such as the teachers who have seen these students on these journey, and we have on these journeys. Sorry, once I get my English skills today, that'd be awesome. And we have the amazing board members who make this all possible. So it's so awesome to have everyone here at this breakfast. But in relation to the imposter syndrome that's been mentioned, and in relation to the failure, I honestly think that we should own that. We should own those failures, because those failures are the stepping stones that help us succeed. To this day, my favorite grade ever that I ever got was an B in AP European culture, as it was in Poway High. And that's because that was the hardest class I ever took. To me, that was the first F I ever got. That was the first D I ever got. And I remember I was so enthusiastic when I got my first C ever in that class. And that meant nothing compared to the other A's I've ever gotten. Because to me, that was a growing effort that started from failure that I kept pursuing, was being resilient about. And that's the mindset that I really want everyone who's going into college to try to hone. Those failures, yes, they're there, but they're not your identity. They're only a little fragment of this journey. We should own those failures in order to succeed. And part of what Sonia had also mentioned in finding a community is that I believe you should, well, part of the quote that I often tell individuals is to always ask, always put yourself out there, because the worst thing they can say is no, but the best thing they can say is yes. There are so many amazing opportunities on campus, so many families and connections to form. But if you don't go out there, if you don't try to seek them, if you don't even ask about the place you can possibly offer there, there's not going to be a spot there for you. There's not going to be a path there for you. So just put yourself out there. And even if you do get rejected, that doesn't mean that window of opportunity is closed forever. That's just closed for now until you're able to open it yourself, until you find the key to that next door. So I highly encourage you all to keep going and to never be afraid to aspire greater than you possibly can. I graduated high school being adamant about graduating college in 3 years, and I was thankful that I actually was able to do that. I graduated college in 3 years. Individuals thought I wasn't able to do it. Even at some point in myself, I didn't think I would be able to do it, but I kept asking excessively. I had imposter syndrome, but I kept finding communities to foster those relationships with. So I highly encourage you to reach out, to apply yourself, because again, so what if they say no? Make your own path, find another path. So if you guys can't do it, that's because you can't for now. That doesn't mean you won't ever be able to. So that's just my sentiment right now.
That is a perfect sentiment. It was beautiful. Thank you. And 3 years. Outstanding. That's wonderful. You know, I think I think, Paul, that's all our alumni too. They got to hear from everybody. That's wonderful. Yeah. We were thinking as we do this virtually, and we've been doing so many things virtually in the last 9 months. I don't know that we would have this many alumni and students together in one place if this were in person. And I think this is even more enriching just to have the alumni and the teachers and all of you together. So I think this is actually just perfect for our breakfast. I think the other board members would agree. And I know Dr. Stefan had to step off, but she did an amazing job of talking about what AVID does and scholarships and how important they are. I loved when she talked about hope being fierce and stubborn, and that hope starts in the dark with the Anne Lamott quote. And boy, you guys are fierce and stubborn. And I always say grit is about getting right in there, and you guys are gritty. Just amazing. You get right in there, and I know that we are also inspired by all of your words and what you shared, and your AVID teachers just blew me away. Those are the ones that really bring you to tears too, how they see you as well. So I hope you're as inspired by yourselves and each other as we all are. The Dalai Lama has talks about everything that he overcame, and people always talk about what he overcame, and he always says it is not because of or in spite of, or not in spite of what I've endured. It's because of what I've endured. I am who I am. You know, he looks at the things that he faced and who he is and how he gives to the world because of what he faced. And really, when I listen to all of you, that's where I feel like the gift to our world is that you look at it and you take it and you run with it and you flourish with it. And it's just an incredible inspiration. So thank you so much. And I was thinking about, why do we do this? And honestly, I'm kind of selfish. And I think for the other board members too, we do this because you inspire us. We need you. We truly need you. Our world needs you. And it's such a blessing to get to be part of your world and to see the greatness that you're going to bring to the world. I was looking at some of the scientists that were part of the vaccine. It's that vaccine we so desperately need right now. And one of them was an Asian scientist. It's a first generation student, and to think about, those first generation students that are being part of creating what we need so badly in our world. And that's what you will do as well. All the things that you are doing. And so I truly hope that, those that get to hear your messages and what you've shared with such open hearts and beauty with one another, that we'll be able to share with others, and that you'll see how we really need you, and that we need people to continue to support this and to continue to support donating scholarships, because our world is better because of you and because of what you bring forth. And there's no amount of money that we can donate that sums up to what you give to the world. So I thank you all very much. And we really do hope that others will get to see your messages and be as inspired as we know they will at your hope and your grittiness, and that they too will donate and continue, so that we can continue on this journey of supporting you with these scholarships, because they are so vitally important. So I know that we will have lots of ways to donate, and that will get out in the messaging and in the recording, and just continuing to support the Lamp of Learning. But again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for being just incredible inspiration. Paul, I think it's on you now.
Thank you. Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
I really hope that you all enjoyed this. I think that this was really, really cool, hearing from our alum. And honestly, I'm flipping through all of your video feeds, and I'm going, oh yeah, she's going to be amazing. Oh, he's really good. Oh, her, yeah. I want to hear what and you guys are all really, really going to do great things. And I'm fortunate because I've got some tenure, and I've seen you know, your evolution. And that's what I get out of this. It's so cool to watch you guys evolve into what I see you will eventually be. We really, really believe in you. And kind of the theme of college is hard. It is. And honestly, I've had some of our alum come back and they break down in tears thinking that they don't belong. And you will probably go through something like that as well. I mean, you just will. I know that when I was your age, I didn't get that message. You know, I thought I was amazing. I coasted through high school. And for most of you, you know, high school has been easy. It's been some work, but it's probably been easy. College will not be, and you will be competing with all of the rest of the people that also coasted through high school. So Marcella actually said, "You're not here by mistake," and that is absolutely something you should keep in mind. You're not here by mistake. All of these professional, you know, the board members, we see a spark in you that we really, really think needs to be nurtured. We're supporting you. We're putting our time, talent, and treasure into you, and we really, really believe in you. So keep that in mind. You're not alone. Find friends. Reach out. You can always reach back to us. But this is a journey, and it's going to be amazing. And you know, Esther has an astounding story. I mean, 3 years. That's I saw that. I figured that must be a typo, but no, it's what she did, and it's not a surprise. So thank you all for being who you are, and coming back for our alum, you know, Sonia and Fadi and Massetti, you know, thank you all for coming back and staying engaged. I think you really, really add value to this, you know, support organization. So thank you very much. All right. With that, I think we're done, and it's time to say goodbye. Please keep in mind, we've got our awards ceremony, should be about June, sometime in June. To our seniors, we will see you again at the interviews. So good luck with that, and get those applications out. We want to hear all of the schools that you applied to, and by the time you interview, you will have heard back from them. So that's exciting for us too. All right. So I hope you all have a wonderful holidays and Happy New Year. And thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Great to see you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.